Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Y'all come on in. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, please come in and comment, tell us hello so we know you're here. And also for those viewing on Instagram, I'm trying, I can't tell if I'm live on Instagram.
Yeah, mine is working.
I hope it's working. Hope it's working. So yeah, y'all come on in. I'm really excited to have this conversation tonight. Please, as you're coming in, please share. Please tag somebody. If you're watching on YouTube, please go ahead and click that like button, click that subscribe button. And if y'all hear an echo, could you let me know? Because I hear one. All right. Oh, I think it's because let's see. Okay. We're good on YouTube. All right. Cool. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it, y'all. I was trying to make sure we had Instagram viewers, but I don't know that it's working. Well, let's get into it. Thank you so much, Vari, for being here, for agreeing to have this conversation with me. I'm really excited for people to hear your story and just for us to give a bit more context to this conversation from the male perspective, because I talk about mother wound healing a lot. So, those who are viewing may know a bit about it. And typically the mother wound shows up the same regardless, but there are some distinct differences in sons. So I'm very happy that you're here. Some time ago, I had a friend of mine, Victor Jones, who came on and shared his story, but yours is a bit different. And I'm really excited. Well, I'm not excited that we have this in common, but I'm excited to have more context to share with people about your particular experience. So if you would please, Vari, tell the people who you are, and then we'll get into it.
All right. How everybody doing tonight? My name is Vari Malik. Well, my name is Tabari as well, but I go by Vari Malik. I'm a poet, influencer, no limits on my end, but most or poet, I'm a podcaster, so it's real nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me onto your platform.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Um, So before we get into like all my questions and unpacking it, I would love for you to share the poem that I heard you share a few weeks back at an open mic. That's how we met. I met Vari at an open mic. He got up there and he was talking about mother bone healing. I was like, you don't be hearing me talk about this. I was like, we have to connect. So I would love for you to share
Okay,
your
no
poem. So
problem.
go ahead.
All right. And you would think, by now it'll uh it'll have a title to it, but it don't. So we're gonna dive into it. Have you ever thought about how the things we went through affected us? Raised off of survival, it was pretty hard to distinguish love from lust. Yeah, you did the best you could, but what about the things that were misunderstood? Like instability. Carried me to my adult life, 14 different schools, that gotta be a record. But see, once again, you were learning too. And I'm not here to bash you. I'm just here to speak my truth. Mama, I'm messed up mentally because of you. I got issues. Now I take accountability for not addressing them head on myself. That boy who was once the man of a household eventually became a man of his own household. And I feel as if you don't like it, you still haven't let go of things that hurt you. And it's beyond frightening because look how it's affecting you now. You only talk to one of your kids and she's ready to throw in the towel. I love you to death, but your baby boy not a boy anymore. And there's some things that need to be addressed. Like the fact you were once all I had and now I can't even get a text. I want to say it's because your pride is impeccable. And everybody not to get you, you just be paranoid. And I get it's what you had to do. But what about the kids who followed in the shadow of you? We didn't know any better. Mama can't do any wrong. She'll make our injuries feel better. Not knowing mentally you caused them. Broken home passed to another broken home. You were supposed to break the cycle. But that's okay. Because as your oldest who been through it and seen it all with you, I'm gonna make sure I pave the way. Mama, I have a son now, and he'll be here before I know it. And yes, I came from a broken family, but he will never know it. Why? Because I sit here today and realize that I'm going to break that family don't mess with family narrative. Because everybody looking for get back, everybody for themselves. Look how it affected us. We got to build families from scratch because the one we was born into abandoned us. At this age, I don't even need the closure. I need action because although it was rough, I won't let it become a distraction. I got bigger dreams now, dreams to do things that our family never seen now, and that's become one, not conditionally, but unconditionally, and let the love run. I, from the words of the host, everybody, we're gonna have to restart because we having some technical difficulties. So y'all give us a minute, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Be back here. All right. Oh damn.
Okay, we're back.
We're
Oh
back.
my gosh. Y'all, right when Vari was ending his poem, my screen just went blank. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't unmute myself to say anything. I couldn't do anything. I tried to do the whole control. Anyways, I will not belabor the time. The good thing that came out of this is I was able to get my Instagram going. So that's a plus. Instagram
Maybe
is
that was the
now
point.
live and can see that. So hey, we'll take the win however we can get it. So if you don't mind, we'll try to speed through this, but if you don't mind, I would love for you to share your poem once again so that Instagram can hear it. And
Most
we'll pray
definitely.
to God that nothing happens.
Can you hear me pretty well?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, we're gonna run it back. All right. Have you ever thought about how the things we went through affected us? Raised off of survival, it was pretty hard to distinguish love from lust. Yeah, you did the best you could, but what about the things that were misunderstood? Like instability carried me to my adult life. 14 different schools, that gotta be a record. But see, once again, you were learning too. And I'm not here to bash you, I'm just here to speak my truth. Mama, I'm messed up mentally because of you. I got issues and I take accountability for not addressing them head on myself. That boy who was once the man of the household eventually became a man of his own household. And I feel as if you don't like it. You still haven't let go of the things that hurt you, and it's beyond frightening. Because look how it's affecting you now. You talk to only one of your kids and she's ready to throw in the towel. I love you to death, but your baby boy not a boy anymore. And there's some things that need to be addressed. Like the fact you were once all I had and now I can't even get a text. I want to say it's because your pride is impeccable and everybody not out to get you, you just be paranoid. And I get it's what you had to do. But what about the kids who followed in the shadow of you? We didn't know any better. Mama can't do any wrong. She'll make our injuries feel better. Not knowing mentally you caused them. Broken home passed to another broken home. You were supposed to break the cycle. But that's okay because as your oldest who has been through and seen it all with you, I'm going to make sure I pave the way. Mama, I have a son now, and he'll be here before I know it. And yes, I come from a broken family, but he will never know it. Why? Because I sit here today and realize that I'm going to break that family don't mess with family narrative because everybody looking for get back, everybody for themselves. Look how it affected us. We got to build families from scratch because the ones we were born into abandoned us. At this age, I don't even need the closure. I need action because although it was rough, I won't let it become a distraction. I got bigger dreams now, dreams to do things that our family never seen now. And that's become one. Not conditionally, but unconditionally let the love run.
Amazing. 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 Um, we're not here to unpack your poem, but I just have to say, like, the line about like, man, I don't even need closure. I need action. That right there,
Mm-hmm.
that right there,
Mm-hmm.
man. Thank you for sharing that. I believe so
Thank you.
many can and will resonate. Um, that poem resonates with folks listening and watching. If you're coming in, please comment below. Tell us, hey, that you're still here. Thank y'all for hanging in with us through the technical difficulties. If you're on Instagram, please share this with someone you know. If you're on YouTube watching, please go ahead and like and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, please share this. We appreciate y'all being here with us. All right, let's unpack it. So, I always like to start these conversations off with defining the mother wound, just in case people haven't heard me speak about it. And I define the mother wound as an emotional injury caused by a generational deficit in the mother-child relationship that forms self-critical, codependent, controlling behaviors, amongst many other things. And when we met, I pulled you aside and we talked briefly about it. And what you were describing was spot on for what a mother wound is. And I made a post about this recently regarding how codependency sometimes shows up. And now there are are certain mother wounds that go unscripted. Actually appears that the mother has a really, really close relationship with the child. They do everything together. The child does everything for them. They are like, two peas in a pod. So you would never imagine that there was woundedness there. What oftentimes, though, not all the time, because I do recognize some parents do have healthy relationships with their children, and I honor that and I appreciate that. Yet, oftentimes, what's at play underlying that quote unquote closeness is codependency. And I wanted us to just, deep dive into that. So, how would you describe, just in general terms, your overall childhood experience?
Um, man, like, I'm a briefly, me and my mom, well, had a pretty rough childhood. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like my mom had me at a young age. She had me when she was 16. So that off the bat, just like, okay, like I was young myself, so like growing up and being the baby, which turns out to be the oldest, growing up and being the baby, then when you end up being the oldest, like you and your mom build this type of relationship, like it's like, you practically her broke best friend for real. You know what I'm saying? When you young like that, so it's like from there growing up, and especially when you're going through hard times, and when you're going through hard times, y'all really all y'all got. So y'all build this bond and this relationship with each other where it's like, it's really unexplainable, to be honest with you, because like that love, for one, the love that a mother have for their child anyway is just, it's amazing. But when certain factors and things like that get thrown into the picture, it's like you say, it's kind of like controlling, but not in a sense, like that's why and I'm not trying to break down the poem itself, but it's like when I said I'm not here to bash you, because at the same time you were learning too. You understand? So, but you don't even understand like how that affected the child growing up, and they don't even the child don't see it when they until they get grown up, and they like, damn, I mean, dang, they like, I don't know, something ain't right, like, this not supposed to be like this, and you get to self-reflecting and you reflecting on when you came up, and it's just like, oh, okay, a lot of things, and it, to me personally, it hurts more when you get older. That's how I see it. It hurts a lot
Yeah,
more when you get older, because it's like, hey, I ain't see none of that.
yeah. And I sometimes take for granted that people understand where I'm coming from. So let me add a few disclaimers. We absolutely are talking about impact over intent, because we do understand that um, for the most part, most mothers have pure intentions towards their children. Most mothers, not just want to do everything they can, but absolutely give all they can, all they have, do all they can to raise their children in loving and safe environments. We acknowledge that, we respect that, we appreciate that, we are grateful for that. We will spend the rest of our lives, showing our gratitude and our honor if we can, because of that. These conversations regarding mother wound healing, it reflects the impact of what our mothers didn't give us. And we do understand that they didn't give it to us, not because they didn't want to, but because they didn't have it to give. You talking about a
Exactly.
16-year-old getting pregnant. Like a 16-year-old's brain is not even fully developed yet. You know what I mean? So there's no
Exactly.
way that, your mother could have given you everything you needed. She's a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that listeners hear us from the perspective of, I honor, respect, and love and thank my mother for everything she did for me. She gave me
Exactly.
everything she had, but because there were things that she didn't have, there were also
She couldn't
things
give
I
it.
didn't have. She couldn't give it. So now there is a void and there is a wound. And we are just now taking accountability over our own healing journey and choosing to become all that God intended for us, choosing to become healthier, to become better, and to choose a life of forward movement and continual progress. So I appreciate you sharing that this isn't about mom bashing. This is about like there were just some things missing, and we get to own that part of our story, right? We get to own it.
Mm.
We are not owned by our story, but we absolutely have to own our story in order to move forward. So I appreciate you sharing that. When did you realize that there were some needs, some emotional needs that weren't being met?
Um, Truthfully, I've had to be like, I think I was 22. I was
Fully
22 years
grown.
old, fully grown, like at
Mm-hmm.
least I thought, like at least I
Yeah.
thought. So
Yeah.
like me and her, we had got into this intense argument. It was all about, it was just, and I wanna add in there, like, certain things that I was saying to her, she would counteract it with, "I'm grown." Okay, mama, how old do you think I am? Like, so it went from there. And then I actually after I moved out from my mom's spot, that's when I ended up getting my own spot. And that's when a lot of things I was realizing, like I spent a lot of time reflecting and just thinking about it. And I'm just like, bro, like this ain't how it's supposed to be, like this not how
Mm-hmm.
it's supposed to be. And a lot of things, honestly, truthfully, a lot of things I was blind and oblivious to until I actually end up getting with my wife. You know what I'm saying? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize it. I just didn't. And then she would say little things and I'd be like, nah, not my mama, like, and
Mm-hmm.
not even on no, like we say, not here to bash, but not even on no, but it was just more so eye opening, like, okay, take heed to it. Don't just let it, you know what I'm saying? Don't just let it pass you by. Take heed to it, really pay attention to it. And I started paying attention. I was just like, huh,
What were some of
okay,
the things
and
that what were some of the things that your wife was noticing, and like what was she sharing with you? I'm assuming that she had good intentions and wasn't trying to come in between you and your mother, but was just trying
nah,
to
not at
highlight
all,
some
not at
things.
all.
So what were some of those things that she was pinpointing?
Basically, like, um, I still had this. Me and my wife were staying together, you know, but I still, one of the things were, and it's just one of the things that I had, or I felt the need to do was, I felt the need to try to take care of two households, like that was me. I felt that because I've always been there for my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't been no, if she need me, I'm there. And that's just like, like I said, I always been there. So
That's mama,
I tried
right?
to
Like
take,
that's
yeah,
what we
that's my
that's mama.
mama. And I'm like, and I was just like, God, it is kind of stressful. Like it's really overbearing. I'm just like, dang, okay. So let's just have a talk with Mom Dukes and let her know, like, mama, hence the my mom, I got my own household now, it's just like, like, but little
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Were you expected even in childhood to show up that way as like more of a provider role? Was that so? Did you feel obligated to show up that way, or was that just something you wanted to do?
It was really something I wanted to do. I never felt obligated to, but like it was really something, like I said, it was really something I wanted to do because like I said, coming up was pretty rough. So I pretty much watched my mama, like, struggle. I grew up without a dad, so it's 10 times worse, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, dang, man, seeing your mama come home, some days you don't even see her because she out working so long, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I really tried to, I don't know, I really, it's kind of like I was forced into it, like off the fact of me caring for her so much, like, hey,
Yeah.
my mom want to see you go through that, I don't want to see you struggle like that, I don't want to see you run yourself into the ground, but that's how that developed.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I've noticed in some sons who have a similar dynamic with their mother is, in some cases, they are treated more like the husband or the partner than the son. Do you relate to that at all?
Circumstantially,
Mm-hmm.
like some things, where it's like, hmm, I'm trying to give a rather good example. I can't, I don't know. I can say I was
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't at the same time. Like I was treated, it's just that like I said, that codependency thing. Like
Yeah.
it really didn't start until I got older though. At least I didn't really realize it till I got older.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like I started working. I had my first job when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
So and I was still staying with my mom, but when money started coming in, that's when I started, like
Mm-hmm.
I that's when it was kind of like circumstantial in a
Yeah.
sense. So
And let me frame that again. I don't want to assume that people understand what I mean. What I mean by sons being treated by their moms more like a partner than a son is, I don't mean that in a in a perverted way. What I mean it in, well, I mean sometimes it is emotionally perverted, but let me explain it. It's the depending on the son as you would a partner, talking to the son as you would a partner, sharing things that may not be appropriate for a mother-child relationship, but
mm,
because you are also close, that's just how things are. You share that mothers share everything. They may be dumping their problems and issues and challenges that they're going through in their personal lives with the child, therefore placing the emotional burden on the child. It could be making the child feel obligated to stay close, or controlling everything they do, or getting in between maybe their romantic relationships. So I don't mean like like an incestuous relationship.
mm,
But my friend Victor Jones said this when I made that post about this. He mentioned the term emotional incest. And I was like, wow, that's deep, it's heavy, because oftentimes those lines are just blurred, right? And again, for whatever reason, right? Like when you're in survival mode, anything goes. You're literally just trying to survive. But I wanted to give a bit more context. I don't want anyone to think that I was, asking asking Vari if they had like an inappropriate relationship. I just want to be clear what I mean when I say some moms treat their sons like partners and not sons. And I know a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. You've seen this, you've witnessed this, you've experienced this. Um, so, and I do see a question in the comments, so I'll make sure I get to that. Thank you, Alicia. I'll make sure I get to that. Um, so shout out to your wife for being vocal and expressive about what she was noticing. When she would bring these things up and you begin to notice them yourself, did you then go back and see, okay, you know what, this is a pattern I've noticed since my childhood, or was it something that you believe actually started in your adulthood?
um, I think I didn't. I don't know because like I said, I didn't really notice a lot of things until my adulthood. And
Mm-hmm.
initially, and this just a little transparency. When my wife used to come to me, I used to get defensive, like, nah, bro, that's my mama. She want, like, nah, you just, nah, I wouldn't see it, I wouldn't believe in it, But that's what I'm saying about the self reflection. You get to thinking, and you just sit back and you observe, and you just like, huh. So to bounce off of that, did your wife ever go to your mom, or did you nip it before that? Um, I nipped it before that. Like, did I handle it correctly? Probably not. But I was just handling it the best way I knew how. In that moment, or what I was dealing with, I was taking all the cards I was dealt, and I was playing them the best way I could. And and that's how that turned out. But nah, I think like, and to bounce off what you said, Ali, with the relationships with your mother, I think experience though, my mom, it was just really the dependency, like the dependency, like you expect me to, like, granted I'm your oldest son, I'm your only son, but some things I'm just not obligated to,
That's
and that's how
real.
I feel.
That's real. That's real. Some things, again, what we do out of the kindness of our heart, right? Of our hearts. That's one thing. If I choose to go over and above and beyond, for someone, that is my choice. It's a difference though when there is pressure placed upon you to the point where your decision making is dependent on this person, where you can't go
Mm,
left because what are they going to think, or you can't save your money the way you want to save your money, or even spend your money the way you want to spend your money because, well, I got to allocate this for them, and that's just not that. I believe, and we're both believers, so I'm sure you will agree with this. There is divine order, and um, none of us asked to be here. I say this all the time. None of us asked to be here. None of us had any say
for sure.
in any of this, and who our parents were, who our siblings were, what city we were born in, what environment. We didn't have any choice in this matter. So to then be expected to not only take care of ourselves, but then our parents too, that is out of order. It is simply out of order. And yes, we can talk about the variables that make those things happen. We can talk about oppression. We can talk about teen pregnancy. We can talk about all the things, right, that would make um, circumstances unfavorable and undesirable. At the end of the day, though, parents have a choice to parent. And now, as adults, we have the decision to make to implement boundaries, right? Like, you don't
Exactly.
have control over what I do now that I'm an adult. You can have control over my resources, my time, my energy, my decision making, my money. You can't have control over that. No. Now, if loving children, I'm sure would be more than happy to do and give and be all the things they can for their parents. But the
Mm,
expectations and the demand is where the codependency comes in and where it
mm,
becomes out of order. And this shows up in so many ways where children, and this isn't just sons, this is for daughters too, where people, don't feel like they can make decisions without consulting their parents. And parental advice and guidance is wonderful, especially if you have wise parents. But the inability to make a decision without their input is a problem. The inability to start your own family, to leave and cleave, without still being tied, that is a problem.
mm,
Um, and I know that there are so many sons and daughters who feel this way, who feel bound to, be caretakers prematurely. Because we're not talking about sick parents, who need some extra care, or what I'm saying. We're not talking about nursing home situations. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about, you know, um, able-bodied, adults who have just as much opportunity as we do, and sometimes even more because they're typically older than us because they're our parents. We're not talking about these exceptional circumstances. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I absolutely hear what you're saying, and I am happy that you are in this place of self-reflection. And I want to talk a bit more about the relationship dynamic, and you can share as much as you want, as much as you feel comfortable with. I
mm.
know that your wife is the one who kind of brought it to your attention, but can you share a bit more about like maybe the tension and the friction that was happening as the mother room, was applying pressure to your marriage?
Um, like I said, it really, it's more so a me thing. Cause like I said, I would get really defensive. And like I'd be like, nah, I wouldn't see it for what it was. I wouldn't see it for what it was. I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like, oh, you just saying that, you just saying this, and it's like she's not trying to. When I say she, I'm talking about my wife. She's not trying to you know, she actually admired our relationship. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing of that nature. It's like,
Hmm.
but it's like you really need to. Nobody else is gonna tell you. So I'm gonna tell you I love you, and I'm gonna tell you like you need to really pay attention. Like you need to pay attention to the things that are going on. Like how does she react when you can't do this, or how does she react when you're not, you know what I'm saying, when you can't do this in a certain manner, or it's just like little things like that. So you know, like I said, for a while I get real defensive about it, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, you know, I brush it off on my end. And that brushing, sweeping up under the rug, we all know how that goes. It don't, it just piles up, the pile get bigger. So when it's time to actually take it head on, it's like, dang, um this should have been dealt with before the pile got this big.
Yeah.
And it ain't really, it's just like, you know, certain things that were brought to my attention should have been handled better, you know, more vocally. That's
Hmm.
how I see it, more vocally. And then from there, just let it be what it be, because you stated, you know. And it's kind of slightly off track, but my thing is, it's like once you say your piece, it's on them, you know, because
Yes.
I realized that the older that we get and the older that they get, they're gonna be complacent in their ways, to the point where they're like, well, whatever. Then the biggest thing they like to say, well, I'm the parent. Okay. And when that gets said, it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, you got it. You got it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you said a lot. One thing that is clear and that I would like to reiterate to people who, struggle with accepting what this is in their life, when you tell somebody no and they have a problem with that and try to guilt trip you or to um, make you see how wrong you are for saying no, that is manipulation. That is a form of emotional abuse. It is mistreatment. Um, we all have the right to say no, with or without explanation. And people who don't accept that, that's a them problem. And I believe a lot of people experience the guilt tripping from the parent, right? It's the after all I've done for you, and you owe me, and how dare you, not do that, and you got it, and like that is controlling behavior. It is extremely harmful. It is extremely unhealthy, and it's not okay. It's not
mm-mm.
okay. It's not. It's not. And I know this is controversial. I know it is, but nobody owes their parents anything but love and honor and respect.
Bingo.
None of us do. Again, what we give should be out of love, kindness, honor, respect, but not out of obligation, not out of fear. So many parents do this fear mongering thing and try to even, weaponize scripture and all kinds of things. But it's like we're people and we were all made in the image of God. We all have value, and respect has to be mutual. Relationships, period, have to have mutual respect, mutual trust, mutual acceptance. And what a lot of parents, I believe, a lot of wounding parents have not accepted is that this is a relationship and it requires the same things that any other healthy relationship requires, any other friendship or whatever, um, we have to have respect. And unfortunately, a lot of our parents just don't see us as equally valuable people. There's this shield, veil, barrier, or whatever that limits them from seeing us properly. And it's really, really unfortunate because I really do want restoration for our families. And I can see the strongholds that the enemy has over our families. He wants us to be separated. And unfortunately, relationships are only as healthy as the people in them. Like one person can't make one person can't make the relationship healthy. It has to be two people intentionally working or intentionally putting forth effort to make the relationship healthy. But unfortunately, a lot of our parents don't see us as worthy to put in the work because they have done their part, you know. But that's just not how this works. That's not how this works. We cannot be manipulated into doing and being what you need us to be. That's just, it's just not, that's not okay. That's not okay. So I would encourage, admonish, give me a little good church word. I would admonish parents, if you have a strained relationship, to consider the language you're using. And consider the perspective you have of your adult children, because um yeah, that's not okay. That's emotional abuse, to manipulate and control. um and yeah, I see some comments in here saying that I'm the parent. Yeah, I know a lot of us, especially as Black folks, relate to that. That I'm not that I'm the parent thing. You know, it's like, okay, sure, we get that. We totally understand that.
Not
So
oblivious to it at all.
right, man. So what led to your decision to go no contact?
Um, basically, like, basically, like what I voiced not too long ago, like, you know, about once I've said my piece, and just like, all right, then cool, you know, whatever you fighting and battling on that end, if we can't come to terms, or like as you said, equally, not on parent son relationship or parent child relationship, but outside of that, human being to human being, acknowledge that we both have emotions and we both have feelings, and to acknowledge them and come get kind of grasp some common ground for that. If there's no grasping that, that's just like, you know, that's like almost as if you're talking to a brick wall. So it's like, if there's no common ground for that, then I'm gonna let you be, and I'm gonna heal the way I need to heal, and that's just gonna be that.
Yeah, yeah. I especially wanted you to elaborate on that piece, because this is the part where people like draw a line of the sand. You know, it's like I talk to people who is like, you know, I have these, you know, issues with a mom and I want things to be better and I do have a mother wound and I'm working on it. But when the conversation about, you know, stricter boundaries come into place, it's like, oh, whoa, that's mama, that's mama. And I like to approach this piece of the conversation simply again, like any other relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If this were a domestic violence situation where a partner was being physically abused by their partner at home, we would beg them to leave for their safety. If this was an emotionally abusive romantic relationship where a spouse was being cheated on constantly, they were married to a serial cheater and they were being, you know, just tormented emotionally because of the mistreatment, right? We would beg them to see their value and see their worth and choose better and to move on and to grieve. And we would offer support. We would offer, you know, community to rally around this person to help them, you know, find a better life, because this is not the way. If this was any other relationship that even, you know, at work, right, when we are mistreated by our leaders at work, when we are in toxic environments where we are, you know, micromanaged or not respected, not heard, our ideas are not heard, but then they're stolen from others, or we are belittled, all kinds of things, right, that happen within toxic work environments. In that case, we're like, girl, leave, man, you can get a better job, you know, like I'll help you find jobs.
Yeah,
We are pro leaving any other scenario in any other relationship, professionally, platonic, romantically. We are hashtag cut ties. What is it? We are, this is the cutoff culture. This is the cutoff culture. Everyone's like, cut them off, cut them off, cut
cancellation.
them off, cancel, be done with it, move on, find something better. And sure, we need,
Exactly.
you know, some balance there too. But when it comes to, and even with fathers, even with absent fathers or abusive fathers, we are more understanding when people cut ties. because it's understood that a lot of people in our community have estranged relationships with their fathers or difficult relationships with their fathers for whatever reason. But when it comes to the mama, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
She your mama. Don't do her like that.
Yeah, you only get one. You only
You
get
only get
one.
one.
You only get one. And you're gonna regret it if she passed away. And it's like, you're talking about something that's happening so far down the line. I'm talking about my pain right now. The pain I'm experiencing right now. I can't even think about some imaginary grief down the line or some imaginary regret down the line when I'm experiencing torment right now because of this
Mm-hmm.
relationship, when I'm experiencing anxiety, when I'm experiencing all kinds of mental confusion because of this relationship, when I am questioning my value, when I am being a perfectionist because I always have so critical of myself because I was always criticized, when I am codependent in every single relationship I get in because of this one. That's the problem. That
Mm-hmm.
is the problem. We're talking about long-lasting impacts of one of the fundamental relationships that we have. And if it requires one to place the boundaries and say, you know what, I gotta step away for a while for my own health, for my sake, for my sanity, for my peace of mind, then so be
So
it.
be it. For sure.
And
For
hopefully
sure.
it's temporary, hopefully, within that separation, both parties are compelled to do the work, right? But if not, God bless.
I can say, and I'm not meaning to cut you out, Allie, but me and my mom have actually been back on speaking terms here lately, and it's just like, it's different for sure. Like it's different for sure. It's like I can almost acknowledge the fact that she did a lot of inner work for herself. Not just for
Oh,
her,
praise Him.
not for everybody else, but for herself. So it's acknowledgeable, and you got to give kudos to the work. Always got to give kudos to the work because it's not easy.
Insert praise break here. Where is the organ and the tambourine? I do got a tambourine. We need to shout.
Mm.
This is incredible.
Go ahead and
I'm gonna
play it.
tell you why. Because I've been doing this for almost 4 years now, and I
Mm-hmm.
can count on one hand, less than three people that I know that I've had these conversations with who will tell me that their mom actually acknowledged the pain they caused and actually apologized. This is rare. This is rare and so beautiful. And I hope that people listening are inspired and filled with hope that um, you choosing yourself is not in vain, and that your prayers not in vain, and that your desire, because I believe that it is God's will for our families to be restored and reunited. You know what I'm saying? Like God moves through families. No wonder the enemy fights us so hard and so strong. So my knees are shaking. I'm just so excited to hear that. Because the last time we talked, it was a different story. So I am elated for both of you to be on the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not looking for perfection. And I always say this: no one asks for perfect parents. No
Nah,
one
not at all.
asked. None of us have ever asked or needed perfection from our parents. We have needed accountable parents. We have needed parents to listen to us. We have needed parents to hear us when we say, I have feelings and you hurt them. And this is how we can make it better. We just want it to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, period.
That's how I started
Right?
writing poetry.
Yeah.
Coping.
And and even there are some people that I know who have strained relationships with their mothers, but they're still trying to figure it out. Even if they're fighting, they're at least working together. And I think that there's beauty even in that, where it's like it's the tension of we're trying to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think even that is beautiful. Even that is worthy of fighting for. Like I'd rather fight with you in the ring than us be, you know what I'm saying, so far apart because you won't even listen. You won't even acknowledge that you caused this wilderness. Now, granted, it's my
Mm-hmm.
responsibility to heal my own stuff, right? But
Mm-hmm.
how can we move forward in the relationship if you won't even acknowledge that there's a wound there, let alone apologize? God forbid
No,
a parent, especially a black one, apologize. So I'm just so happy for you. I'm so happy for you, and I'm so hopeful for your relationship and how you all choose to move forward. That is incredible.
thank you.
How did that time though? How did that time of no contact and estrangement impact your other relationships with your siblings or other relatives? Like, did you see a domino effect?
Actually, I did. In a sense, I have two sisters actually, and that's how that one stanza, you only talk to one of your kids, and she's ready to throw in the child come about. Like I have two sisters. One would be 24 Thursday, and the other one just turned 18. She graduate Thursday. So
Congratulations
it's
and happy
like,
birthday.
yeah. So it's like just talking and seeing, like, and for me being the oldest, and then it's like it's two different perspectives, because y'all gonna get, not only are y'all gonna get mama, but y'all gonna get the female version of mama. Like y'all get that woman version of mama, because y'all are young women. So it's like I'm seeing it and I'm just like, man, well, the thing I used to say is like, y'all know how y'all mama is. That was me. Like y'all know how y'all mama is. Just don't even, like, I didn't really let that interfere with my relationship with my siblings, because my baby sister basically I practically helped raise. You get what I'm saying? Like that's my baby girl there. So it's like, so I was like, man, how mama get. Now I'm not saying that to excuse or justify no behavior. I'm just saying, before you think about doing anything, acknowledge the fact that you knew that already, or
Yeah,
acknowledge the fact that you know how it goes. But I'm here to listen to you and talk to you and help you with your decision making. But you
yeah,
know how she is, so, and you know what voicing it gonna get you. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind when you make your decision. Like, I think I became um more so a leader in those, for my siblings
Mhm.
in those times, because like I said, I'm the oldest, and I've been there, done that, and it's
Yeah.
just like, I'm like, okay, this how you, more so a mentor, like this how you do that, or this how this
Mhm.
gonna go. So I can tell you, they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna give you the keys, I'm gonna give you the tools for that, but however you deal with it or decide to deal with it is on you. But it definitely brought us closer. I can say that.
Mm. I love that. Even that is rare because oftentimes siblings are split apart when one goes no contact because there's typically um, some triangulation going on where there's like a golden child and a scapegoat and a black sheep. And, the golden child is like, you're so disrespectful and how could you and how dare you? And, they tend to separate themselves. So I love that y'all have been able to navigate this together. I also really hope that people hear what you're saying. Um, Listeners, you're listening to someone who just basically said, before you decide this life this path that I've chosen, count the cost. This is someone who is basically saying, I'm not encouraging you to go no contact like I am, because this isn't an easy decision.
It's
This
not.
isn't easy. This isn't something you do by happenstance. This is not a random, spontaneous decision you choose. This isn't a path you just stumble upon. And I really want, I know it's not my job to convince anybody or to, you know, try to, I try very hard to just speak to my listeners, right? The people that I'm called to help, people with mother wounds. But I am compelled to encourage parents to understand the scientific biological fact that an adult choosing to go no contact is choosing to set aside their very nature. Like we literally come from your womb. It is the first relationship we know. We are wired to view and to see you as a goddess. You know what I'm saying? Like we are wired to see you as like Queen Mama. To go no contact means that there must have been something done so egregious, so painful, that we would choose to walk away
Then continue to stay.
with
Remain.
our mama,
You said something then,
our
especially
flesh and blood, our flesh and blood.
when y'all
We
like
are
that.
not, we are not, it is not lost on children who are wounded. It's not lost on us the connection a mother and child have. To come to that decision is a very, very hard one. And there is no child who wants to go no contact. Children are pushed to go no contact. You can be pushed to a point of pain where you literally cannot bear it anymore. And I want people, not just parents, but even, other people who, maybe are the support system or the community of people, or sons and daughters who have chosen this path. You may not understand it, but we all understand pain. And we all understand that we're always trying to get away from it. And I would hope that we could just grasp the fact that it has to be really, really bad to get to that point. To say, you know what, I'd rather not have anything to do with you, mama. I'd rather not talk to you. I'd rather not, whatever, because it's just unbearable. That is a reflection of the parent, not the child.
For sure.
If a
For sure.
child goes no contact, that is a reflection of the parent, not the child. We are groomed, we are made to need you, to desire connection with you. We came from you. To depart from you is a reflection of you.
For sure. You said something then, Ellie. I ain't even gonna lie.
It is what it is. It
Yeah.
is what it is. And yeah, that's that, because, we got parents who want to play victim mode, who want to be in victim mode, like, how could they? Well, I got 30 years of reasons for you.
For sure. For sure.
So let's talk about, let's infuse some hope. How did you guys get back on speaking terms? Did she reach out? Like, what was that process?
Um, I just because in a way I was kind of avoiding her. You know what I'm saying? I was picking my little sister up from school and everything. I would never go inside, So, but one day I just decided to like, all right, cool. We gonna go in here and do it. Whatever goes, and like nothing really. You can feel it. Like you can feel it. You can feel the distance. You can feel the time that was lost. You can feel the love that's still there. You can feel the love that's being expired to give. Like you could, like that's me personally. You could feel everything. I'm just like, dang. Like this is like it was a very like moment. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
Yeah,
but I definitely just and I won't sit here and lie and say that like there wasn't times where she had reached out to me, but I wasn't ready,
yeah,
so that's just
yeah,
that's just truth. Like I wasn't ready to be back in that position or in that just have that type of, one day I just decided to let it go and just
yeah,
breathe
yeah,
and walk step forward.
yeah. And I think that that is so amazing. What you're saying is just because someone is ready to come back into your spaces and be in your good graces doesn't mean that you have to allow them. We get to decide how we rebuild with someone who has broken our trust, who has wounded us, who has harmed us. We get to decide that.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that sometimes people will believe, like, oh, well, enough time has passed. This should be over it by now. No change has occurred. No accountability, no apology, no change behavior, just time has passed. And I heard someone say this recently: time is not an apology. We don't just get to like just be, oh, let's just let it breathe, and then we'll just go back as usual. We'll just
Can't.
sweep it under the rug. Enough things have, layered the pain to where we can just go on as usual. And it's like, no, in order to rebuild, something has to change. Something has to change. So I really love that you're saying that you stuck to your boundaries, which is a form of self-love, which is how we care for ourselves, how we protect ourselves. And I also love that, just like to my point, children desire connection with their parents. You know what I'm saying? So for you to be like, you know what, man, I'm ready to move past this.
Yeah.
I love that. I really, really, really do. What How would you encourage sons who are experiencing this type of dynamic with their mother?
Um, I say, I say this like, granted, people you can get told like you can get told from multiple mouths or well, this, that, and the third, but until you see it for yourself, don't even act on it. Don't go off of what nobody else say, because a lot of people don't have your best intentions for sure. But until you see it for yourself and you recognize and acknowledge the way that it's treating your adult life, then that's when you can either speak up about it, or you can. I never want to say just let it be, because you ain't doing nothing but digging a deeper hole for yourself. But if you grew up like I grew up without a father, or and you get into your early 20s or your early adult age, and you really just don't know how to be a man yet, the first step, IMO, is to stand on business. Just like take that time and let your mother know how you feel. Yeah, that's your mother, but you're also a human being as well, and some things got to be addressed and understood and acknowledged, and just let her know how you feel. And if your mother understanding and willing to, then change what happened. But if y'all got to do the whole tug of war battle, then let it be. It's not good for your mental health. It's not
Yeah,
good for you at all. So just, take my biggest thing is, if it ever get to that point, God forbid it don't, but if it ever get to that point, choose yourself. That's the biggest thing I got. Choose yourself. Choose to love yourself. Choose to work on yourself. Choose to heal yourself, and kind of be kind of look ahead. Look ahead. Like, look at the future. Like, one day, if you don't have kids, one day you will have kids, and just think about how that could affect you and how that could affect them, and just take the time to really do some self reflecting and acknowledge everything
yeah,
that's going on, and then you make your decision.
yeah. And I forgot to ask you that, but I wanted to ask you about your kids too. How have you seen this impact the way you parent?
It impacted gratefully, because I find myself sometimes like, I catch spurs of me being my mama. I'd be like, wait, no, 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 we not doing that. We not doing that, because I got babies. Like, nah, we not doing that. The key is to break the cycle. You're not doing that. Communication, acknowledge feelings. Let them have a voice. Not saying let them be grown, not saying let them be smart mouth, but really let them voice how they feel and acknowledge it and work from there. So I feel like, and that's like one of the biggest things that you can take from, childhood trauma or childhood wounds. Like, it'll damn sure make you a great parent. I can't even like it. If you acknowledge it the right way, it'll really do something to you. Like, it'll be like, man, nah, cause this how I came up, and I don't want how you turned out. You don't want your kid to turn out that same way. I want to love my kids unconditionally. I give them the world, give them the clothes off my back, and I don't want nothing in return from it. I don't want nothing in return from it. I'm just doing my duty.
Yes, yes. Oh, I love that. Nothing in return. Man, I love that. And major key, childhood trauma can make great parents if the parent acknowledge the pain and work through the pain. Because
Got to work through it.
it's not enough to be self-aware, because a lot of our parents knew they were wounded. They just didn't do anything about it. They just, let it fester.
Yeah,
And
that's
another
bad.
thing too, and this is, where I extend grace, because a lot of parents really just wanted to give their children what they didn't have. And I respect that and I honor that. We have to balance that though, y'all. We have to balance that, because what happens is we're so focused on what we didn't have, or that we end up projecting our pain. The focus should be
Mm-hmm.
what your child needs, right? It's like, okay, cool. I didn't have that, but maybe my child does not need that. Maybe they need something else. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, parenting from a place of let me give them what I needed is still selfish. It's still it's still,
Your child is
focused
not
on,
you.
right, it's still focused on the wrong person. Like we want to value our children, and raise them to be confident and assertive, and have self-worth. We have to, listen to their needs. And I get, depending on the stage of the child, the 2-month old can't tell you their needs. I'm not talking about that, but just in general, if our focus is on, breaking the cycle, we have to look at it holistically. Yes, I want to give them what I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have, but also I want to focus on what they need. So that it has to be, we have to embrace the nuance of that. So I love what you're saying, that they don't owe anything. You're just doing your duty, and we have to give ourselves grace, right? Because as we're figuring it out, especially the people who are healing their childhood wounds and parenting at the same time, I have a special love for y'all, because whew, that's a lot. Give yourself grace, because your
Yeah,
mama gonna come out. Your mama, she gonna come out on every blue moon. Like there was there was one
it's
time I
gonna
was getting
happen.
getting onto my niece or my nephew, I forget which one it was, and I said, I know what it was. I said, my nephew was questioning me and he would not listen to me. And I finally just yelled, because I said so. And I caught myself like, oh no, 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 no. Like,
Uh-uh.
no, 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 no. And but in those moments, we have opportunity to apologize and course correct. And that's the beauty, right? Because again, no one needs perfect parents, just accountable ones. So in moments where we mess up,
Mm-hmm.
it's an opportunity to break the cycle by simply apologizing and doing the next best thing. So I love that you're noticing how this is showing up in your parenting. And I love how you said, just for anyone facing that, to ultimately choose yourself. I think that's really, really beautiful. I do want to share, just in general, when it comes to mother wound healing, the 6 steps that I have, that I believe Holy Spirit gave me to overcome this pain is, of course, number one, identifying the pain, identifying the wound. How does it show up for you? In what ways does it come up for you in day-to-day life? Are you a perfectionist? Are you controlling? Do you freak out if things change, or you don't, if you can't think 10 steps ahead? Do you criticize everything? Do you find problems in everything? Are you always looking at things, from, a glass what is it, half empty or half full? The pessimistic view, where you can find negativity in literally anything. Like, identify the ways that the mother woman shows up, codependency, no boundaries. And then from there, we have to shift our perspective of one, who we are, who our mom is, who was just a woman who came to motherhood, with all her stuff and did her best. And we also have to change our perspective of God in this. And from that moment, we get to go through a phase of forgiveness, because we understand that unforgiveness shows up as chronic stress, chronic pain, inflammation, all kinds of torment in our own bodies. So
Mm-hmm.
letting go, not excusing anything, but choosing to not be bound to unforgiveness is a very liberating thing. And also choosing to continually forgive, because a lot of times our parents may not change. And if we're still in conflict with them, we may be getting triggered over and over and over again. We have to choose a posture of forgiveness. And as my mentor told me once, we have to forgive the role of the mother. Like, we just forgive the role. because they gave what they had. And then grieve. We have to grieve the mother we wanted, grieve the mother that we didn't get, grieve and go through those stages of grief. And I'm going to do a live on this soon, going through the stages of grief as it pertains to mother wound healing. But grieve the fantasy of the relationship that you have in your mind, grieve the fairy tale of it all, and then begin to step forward, begin to implement boundaries. And not super strict boundaries. Boundaries should be flexible, but they're there to protect us. And oftentimes, folks with mother wounds have come from a place where we didn't have any boundaries. They're very, very loose. We need to come and have more, stable ones. And for those who have extremely rigid boundaries, then loosen up a little bit. We need healthy boundaries, not too loose, not too rigid, somewhere in the middle. And then from that place, we get to find new ways to honor. We all know the scripture and the commandment that tells us to honor our parents. And we get to do that. You can do that in new ways, though. We can find new ways to honor our parents without subjecting ourselves to further pain. Maybe that honor is not speaking of them negatively around your friends, or maybe that honor is protecting, I don't know, like protecting their reputation, or maybe that honor is only calling them once a week, because if you call them multiple times a week, you're going to get into it and get disrespectful. Like you get to choose ways that you honor your parents, because it's still a commandment and a biblical principle. And then from there, we get to manage our expectations. We get to, because we know healing isn't linear. We're going to have ebbs and flows, and this is a journey, right? There's no end. There is no end. There is no pinnacle to this thing. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, and managing your expectations will allow you to experience grace and compassion, and self-grace and self-compassion as you go through this journey. And I would hope that those who are in this journey of healing would just remain committed to the journey and to the process, because you're worthy of wellness. Dr. Kalita Forbes always says that you are worthy of wellness. You are worthy. You were created in the image of a divine creator who had plans for you before you were even created and conceived. And you're supposed to be here. You were supposed to be connected to the family you're connected to. That was not happenstance. God has a special purpose for you and your family. And I would encourage you to be in prayer about that, about your family, because again, I have to say it, there is no coincidence that Satan fights family so hard, because oftentimes we see that God calls families to do things. You have the Jackson Five, right? The family, there was a family gift. You have the Currys. There's a family gift for athletics. You have the what's another family? The Clark sisters, right? Maddie Moss Clark, the Clark sisters. You can see certain families have gifts, right? That is a coincidence. A lot of times God imparts purpose through a family line. And it is the enemy's goal to steal, kill, and destroy. And he often does that by trying to separate us and keep tension between mothers and daughters, and mothers and sons, and fathers and children. This isn't coincidental, y'all. This is warfare. Let's be clear. This is warfare. And I do hope that each of you ultimately come into full restoration and reconciliation in your relationship with your parents. Ultimately, though, I will never condone or never encourage or advise anyone to stay in relationships where you are being mistreated continually to the point that it is impacting your overall well-being. Um, so all that to say, I hope you guys stick to healing. And Vari, thank you so much for sharing your story. And please tell the people about what you got going on and what was just released.
Okay. First off, I would love to thank you for having me on this platform. I've been ecstatic all day, all week, ever since you shot me the message. I've been just really ready. Now, like I said, poetry, I am a poet. It came up as a coping mechanism for me because I didn't feel the need to be able to confidently go speak to my mama about, things or things that I was going through as a adolescent. So it put me into. I found my coping mechanism. It was poetry. Now, after 5 long years, which y'all need to go get, it's on Amazon right now. Vari's Notebook is now out. Book of poetry. A book of poetry. It's a book of poetry. If you know, follow me on Instagram at Vari Van Gogh to stay updated with it. You know, it's finally out, and you know, I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I can't be nothing but grateful. So
Congratulations. Congrats. I love
thank you
that
so
that was
much.
one of your coping mechanisms because so many people with wounds go to addiction, sex addiction, porn addiction, alcohol, drugs, relationship after relationship, like so to hear you say that poetry was your coping mechanism, I think is so
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank you.
Um, so that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That is really beautiful. And I practice this to y'all,
Thank you.
and maybe Vari has something to say about this too. But when you're going to your parents to try and have these conversations, pray about how to approach them, because we have to, while our pain is valid, we also have to be wise and just logical about some things, and I'm sure both Vari and I can talk about how we messed up, probably not doing these things right. Which
For
is what we can
sure.
tell you, be cautious because most people don't want to be told a list of things they've done wrong off the bat. Like, hey, can I talk to you? You did this, you did that, you did this, you did this, you did that, you did that. My life sucks because of you. Be gentle in your approach,
Yeah, for sure.
and be empathetic. Because if the goal is to be heard, we have to take into account the listener and how they'll best receive. So consider the environment, consider your tone, um,
Mm-hmm.
maybe consider mediation, third party. Consider all those things because the goal here is reconciliation and restoration. And we want effective communication and effective whole relationships. We don't want you going into this. We don't want to empower you to go and address this. And then you end up like us talking to a brick wall. Because that's what's going to happen. Vari, do you have
Basically,
anything to add to that about like how to approach?
I
Um,
mean, just kind of get the feel, like kind of take the time to really acknowledge and process. Like it's almost like you about to give a speech in front of an audience or something like that. That's how I had to look at it. Take out the fact that she's your mother when you go talk to her. But talk to her like you about to talk to your best friend and you got some tea. But ease it and know that everything is not. It's not about what you say. It's about how you say it. I live by that. Because you can tell someone the sweetest things ever, but if your tone ain't, it's gonna completely go over their head. So like, just kind of get the feel, read the room, take time to acknowledge the elephant in the room, and go from there, and everything will be okay.
Amen. Amen. Y'all go to Amazon right now and get this poetry book. I know that you will enjoy it. Vari shared some other poetry at the open mic that I heard, and everything that he shared was just incredible. It was just incredible. He had the room captivated, y'all. So please go and get the poetry book. Please follow him. Where can
Thank you.
they find you? He says at their Vari Van Gogh.
Bart, yes, on Instagram. Really, that's all my social media. But where I post my most updates for that is on Instagram. So, if you would like to, please follow me and stay updated, and go get that book on Amazon.
And I'm gonna put it in the comments. While I'm putting it in the comments, can you spell that out for the people?
Okay.
Vari Van Gogh.
V
No, like can
V
you
A R
spell
I
it? Okay.
VANGOGH.
Okay. Because when you said it in the
Yeah.
open mic, we were all like, how do you spell that on
What do you say?
Instagram?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you spell?
Having this name let me, brought me to realize that a lot of people don't even know who Vincent Van Gogh is.
Van Gogh is. And I knew it was a play on the artist Van Gogh, but I'm just like, how you spell Van Gogh? And also
Yeah,
Vari,
exactly.
yeah, it was
Exactly.
just a lot of yeah. I put it in the comments, y'all.
Discrepancies. We got it. We got it. Thank you.
Where they go
Thank you so
across
much.
social media platforms and Amazon for his poetry book. Stay connected to him. if you're watching this, please send this to a man in your life. I have been doing this, like I said, 4 years now, and uh, I never intended to speak mostly to women, but I've just learned that men don't talk about this. They'll come to my DMs and say, like, I saw your post and that was great, and I relate to that, and you spot on, but they won't do anything else. They won't interact more than that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to go to them. So y'all send this to you. You may never know that your guy friend or your partner or whoever is struggling with his relationship with his mom because he may just be suffering in silence. So send this to him and hopefully he's encouraged by it. So again, thank you, Vari Malik. Go ahead, go ahead.
Before you go, that's another thing I want to say. I'm sorry, I'm dragging it out a little bit,
Oh, you
but hey,
good.
man, listen. This coming from a man. It's okay to feel. It's okay to cry about it. It's okay to talk to someone about it. It's okay to vent about it. You don't have to sit up there and be strong all the time because just like any other human being, we get weak too, and when we get weak, it hurts. So it's okay to let your guard down and just be vulnerable, transparent for a moment. Don't even think about being judged for it. Don't even think about what anybody has to say. Use it just to get it off of your chest, even if that's all you got to do. You don't have to sit there and hold that tension in that, and you don't have to get it out there, let it go, pray to God, and let it be.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vari Malik.
Welcome.
Thank y'all for joining us, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Again, if you're on YouTube watching this, please like and subscribe. If you are on this watching on Instagram, please share it with somebody. And if you're on Facebook, please share this. And also, you can head over to my group, Healing from a Mother Wound, where we are a support group for men and women who just want understanding. This is a very lonely experience. It's a very delicate experience. And if you want just some support and some encouragement and some people who understand your experience, come on over to our group and you'll get just that. So y'all have a great night and an even more amazing week. And I'll see y'all back here sometime in the next month or so. And hopefully we can collaborate again, Barry.
Thank you.
Take care.